That stuff matters, carved in stone. Every stitch and every tone. Living, loving, grinding through all the nerdy things we do.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. That Stuff Matters. Thank you so much for joining us. This is season 2, and I wanted to come at you with an intro. Our last few episodes have been intense. They've had some really good information, really heartfelt, genuine, and great people. And this week is no different. A great friend of mine, and I wanted to do an intro, especially for this, because I feel like the last few episodes, and this one as well, this story could be anyone, and it's so important that people are willing to share. I know these stories are hard for people to share and get out there, but I listened to Spencer's story, um, one of my best friends, and it really could happen to any single one of us and any of our kids. And um, one mistake, one decision, um, led him down a very different path in life. So kudos to him for sharing that story, but also the the amount of determination and adversity that he's overcome. And hearing him talk about, if you know Spencer, he loves you know comic books and anime, and being a superhero is something that I'm sure he always did dream of. But to hear him describe himself as a villain, I know that was hard for him. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I also, switching gears, big stuff coming up this week on the community calendar. I hope you guys are checking out the community calendar. That's always pinned to the top of our That Stuff Matters Facebook page. Super cool. I hope everybody continues to send that stuff to me. Maybe it'll be a place where people can kind of go look and see when events are coming. They can kind of pick dates and try to avoid, a bunch of things on the same weekend if you can, and just let you know what's going on around our community. This week, um, big week for basketball fans. If you're a Lady Dogs or Bulldogs basketball fan, they have home games Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Thursday, we're at Marceline, which that one's going to be a fun night. I think it'll be really competitive games. Make sure you stop by sometime this week. Friday night is senior night. We don't have any boys seniors, but we do have 3 girls senior basketball players, and we have 2 managers that are seniors. So very big week for them. Tuesday night, every week at 6 p.m. is the Moms Breaking the Silence grief support, and that's at 6 p.m. is the Moms Breaking the Silence grief support. Then another big one Tuesday night is the CASA 101 foster care information, and that's the foster care volunteer program. It's brand new. They're just starting it, and they're trying to get people to be in more of like a big brother, big sister role for some of the kids that need some guidance and help. So that's Tuesday night at the Vine at 7 p.m. Wednesday night, 5:30 in the Media Center is a Brookfield Booster Club meeting. Like I said, Thursday you got basketball at Marceline. Friday starts the Father McCartan Dinner Theater Snack Night, and then Saturday is the dinner night. So that is at the Father McCartan, 327 South Kansas Avenue over there in Marceline. And let's see here. Saturday night also is the Lynn County Cattlemen's Banquet. Last season we had Tyler Gordon on, and this is their big fundraiser. And eat more beef, guys. That's what we got to do. That's just this week on the community calendar. So I hope you guys are finding that useful. A lot of big stuff coming up in the community. There's action, there's movement. So that's exciting. And I hope everyone is excited and aware of that stuff. That Stuff Matters. We're here. Like I said, it won't be every week that I'm posting, just because it can be very difficult. There's only one person that records the videos, edits the videos, uploads the videos, makes all the clips for the videos, and you mix that in, the editing and everything, with actually doing our work here. The work is, obviously the priority. So I appreciate everyone who's watching. I hope you guys are really sharing and enjoying. The first week back, it blew up. Ian and I had a conversation just about a bunch of random stuff, what we've been up to. And of course, he's very passionate about waterfowl and duck hunting. And let's see if I have my book. Hit some of those videos, they got like 50,000 views. So it's a very hot topic right now. Um, just fun stuff. And we are really excited because we got a little small piece in the Highway 36 magazine. So, there's a magazine that comes out every 2 years about all the towns that are along the Highway 36 corridor. So from St. Joe to Hannibal, just each town can do a little spread. So Brookfield has us on there for That Stuff Matters, just kind of, getting to know the characters of Lynn County. So it's some fun. We really enjoy it. And I hope to continue growing this thing. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting our little business. It's just Courtney and I in here. We do have high school kids come in the evenings. So as soon as basketball is over, that's going to start back up. And just a lot of good stuff. I apologize I don't have the wrestling schedule. I'll get that for next week, because I know state wrestling is the 25th and 26th. So that's it. Have a great week. That Stuff Matters.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to That Stuff Matters, episode 28, season 2. I am with one of my best friends, and we have a story about that, but I had to beg you to be my friend. I almost felt like a stalker. But ladies and gentlemen, a gentleman in our community that has turned a lot of life experience and adversity into giving back and doing good, Mr. Spencer Gordon.
Thanks, man. Thanks
Spencer,
for. You want to hit
I
the mic?
told you.
Yep.
I told you we're gonna hit the mic.
Well, thanks for getting me here and, continuing to pester me. I know it's good to share our experiences and our life story, and that's what I'm here to do. And maybe somebody's struggling or going through something or not knowing how to give back to the community, and they can hear something in my story and my life that can help spur them forward.
Well, listening to your story has helped me. Even your mom jokes have helped me.
I don't got very many jokes, but I do have a lot of mom jokes.
This episode is not brought to you by NeuroGum. We always, something that Spencer and I do with our friends group is we'll try new things and then we'll share our experiences. So I've been taking these NeuroGum. I don't know. They're okay.
You get a little bit more light bulb moments.
It's just a little bit of caffeine and theanine.
Okay.
So
It's like a nootropic.
there's 40 milligrams of caffeine.
That's enough.
So if I pound 2 or 3 of these, and then I start pounding Ghost,
Yeah. You got 2 days worth of caffeine in you.
I'm good.
You don't need that.
Are you a Monster fan?
I am. I've tried about every flavor. I tried to stick to the 0 sugar, the 10-calorie ones, but orange ones I like in the morning because it's like orange juice, so it goes really good with breakfast. They kind of get me started. Been cutting back, but, give them a chance, guys.
Oh my goodness. I had to switch to Ghost. I
Too
drank Monster
syrupy.
for 15 years probably,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. It made my mouth feel funky.
Like blistery.
No, I don't know, just filmy or something.
Oh, that's why I don't like the syrup in those. Sorry, Ghost.
Well, and to be fair, there's only certain flavors I really enjoy.
Yeah, I do like the pink lemonade one.
I like the pink one and the raspberry cream.
Oh,
Here's my morning routine.
let's hear it.
I'm going to let you in on it. Every day, I go to Casey's and I get a large fountain Diet Dew, a raspberry cream Ghost, and a protein bar, and I drink half of that Diet Dew. Then I pour the Ghost in, and I make me a little Diet Dew Ghost drink every morning, and that's how I
Ghost
start my
Dew.
day.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
You got a nice routine.
Well, it's not coffee, but it's something. I just can't. I don't like
I respect it. I respect it.
Coffee. Spencer is from Brookfield. Was a really good athlete.
Decent.
You and your brother Tyler. Tyler was on our show last season.
Yep, he beat me here.
Which is kind of funny because I think I asked you first,
Yeah, you did.
but you really fought me.
Yeah, it was just I didn't want to follow up Ian and Joel and Matt. I mean, those guys hard following.
Yeah. You were really good at football as well, but you got injured.
I had suffered, quite a bit of injuries early on, and that kind of led me down a different path. But it also helped me, take time to realize like who I was, and there was more to life than just sports, and so it got me into trying things in the school with the drama and choir, and I never would have done those things before. Yeah.
You were in drama and choir.
Yeah, I went to state in choir. We had a men's 8, I believe. We got a 2 at state. Thank you, Mrs. Eric.
Really?
Yeah, we had a good crew.
Do you still? Well, I've heard you sing.
I'm an angel.
I didn't know that about you. So
Yeah,
that's
man.
fun already.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. Name your 3 favorite bands.
The Beatles. I like Journey, and I really like Queen.
Okay,
Those ones are like,
those are great, but that's not where I thought you would go.
yeah, where did you think I was gonna go?
I just
I
heard
like
you-
Måneskin too.
Okay.
Those are fun. I love Modest Mouse.
See, that's what I hear you
Yeah.
listen to more often.
Yeah, those are I like a little funky, songs that make you think, and songs that can put a smile on my face too. I also like sad music. I like songs with emotion. I'm a little bit of a weirdo, but it's what I like.
Well, you like to be sad.
I like to feel, because I feel we can't grow unless we're exploring like all of our emotions and feelings. So many times I feel like we're quick to numb those because they make us feel weird or they make us feel bad or anxious. But we can't actually know ourselves unless we're looking at all those parts of ourselves.
I got
In
deep.
my opinion, sorry.
No, I liked it.
That's what I mean.
So what year would that have been you graduated?
2010.
2010.
Yeah. 16 years coming up. Whoop whoop.
You're a baby.
Yeah, I'm getting old fast though. Look out. I might catch you.
My 25 is this year.
Jeez. There you go. It's an awfully long time.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to your story. You finished high school, and it wasn't long after that your life changed. So I'm going to let
Yeah.
you kind of tell us your story
Okay.
in your own words.
All right. Well, like you said, I grew up here in Brookfield. I love Brookfield. And like a lot of kids, a lot of boys in Brookfield, you grow up, you watch the sports and football. Like that was the big. You go to football on Friday night and you look up and like one of these days, I'm going to be one of them. And for me, when I was a kid, it was watching Danny Fields, Eric Fields, and Eric Hoyt. Those guys were the ones that I wanted to be like. And so at a young age, I decided like that was my goal. My goal was to be a captain of the football team. And it took over, and that's really all you've seen. And as I got older, we put in time, and a group of us would go to an acceleration camps. Like we would drive multiple days a week in the summer to go to this camps in Columbia, and we would work. And that's what we did. And like you said, I suffered some injuries, and I didn't rehab the way that I should have, and I continued to get hurt. And that's kind of where, like I told you before, my life just kind of changed a little bit, and my goals changed as well. Sports weren't number one priority. They were still up there.
Mm-hmm.
I still thought I could, complete my goals and be a great athlete. But the attention I was putting in there and the time, the devotion started to lessen. And I learned I could get away with that. And so a little bit of laziness was taught there, you know. So I kind of just showed up, not trying as hard. Started doing other things. I would go to drama, go do practice musicals after practice. Met a lot of other people who didn't think quite the same way, spent more time with them. That was a lot of fun. But started going off, and that's in that time frame, you know, junior year, sophomore year, I really started to kind of get into some of the stuff that you didn't want, or you don't want your kids to get into, and, you know, partying and drinking, and it kind of, that started to take over. And it was always when I could go let loose and live this other lifestyle. That's when all my mind thought about. And I liked being the center of attention at those places, you know, being a fun,
Were you
rowdy
the life
guy.
of the party?
You know, it happened that way quite a bit. But you watch in that time, you know, when you're a kid, you watch those movies, the high school movies, where it's just Friday night, everyone's at a party, fire, kegs, and
Varsity Blues,
yes.
Dazed and Confused.
So that's what we thought it was supposed to be like, and that's how it should be. And so you're just playing a role. This is the guy I'm going to be in the movie. Like, this is who I'm going to be here tonight. And it kind of became a thing. But I balanced those things out. It wasn't good. I shouldn't have been doing those, but I learned to try to balance those things out in the structure of my life. So I was still able to do somewhat decent in school, where I didn't have people breathing down my neck. I was still able to participate in sports and excel in those sports to a certain degree. I was still able to be in choir and go to state and choir with my friends. So I was able to balance that out with the help and the structure of my family. I come from a split home. They divorced when I was young, but they did a good job of trying to instill values and morals in me. My parents were amazing for the situation that we had to go through. They did an amazing job, and their structure helped me succeed in life. But as soon as after you leave home and you go out, that structure is not there anymore.
Yeah.
And they try to advise me to go to school and live in a dorm and all that, but I had it all figured out, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So me and my buddy, we got a duplex together, and that's kind of where my life really started to get out of control.
Well, I want to say that from my experience when I left for college, there is something that is not talked about, but hard to deal with. When you finally get out of your home and you really don't have anyone holding you accountable to that discipline that you've had in life, it's like, okay, I can miss class. Oh, I can just eat whatever I want, whenever I want. I can drink whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And it's hard sometimes to not let those decisions kind of start to snowball.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's kind of what you meant with that.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, it's like, it kind of reminds me of like a tent without all the structure. Yeah, holding it together. And you kind of
Just
go out.
flopping around in
Yeah,
the
and you're
tent.
just trying to, you got to build your own structure. So I got to build something to hold it up. And I wasn't good at asking for help, because if I was asking for help, I was letting them know I was failing and I wasn't able to do it. And that hurt me. And that's something I still struggle with today, is like admitting that I'm sucking and I need help. But that's learning a life lesson. Yeah. So, I started trying to live the college life, living out of a duplex, and we started out strong, going to classes, doing all that, and then I remember that I don't have to give this much effort, and I started slacking just like I did in high school with things, and just trying to get by while still having fun. Is what we called it. But eventually my life became unmanageable at that age, and the anxiety of, like you said, everything snowballing, missing classes, missing assignments, and not doing well on tests. I was failing school, and instead of saying like, oh, I'm just partying too much and I'm doing all this to my family, I try to find something else to do. So I said, school's not for me. I think I need to go to the military. So that's when, I had friends going to the Navy and other branches, and I'm like, I'll just do that. If he can do it, I should do it too. That'll be fine. Keep me out of trouble, and I'll probably be good at it. So
I don't remember that part of your story.
yeah, this is my little scapegoat. But went back home, and what my parents didn't know at one of the times, like I went and talked to the recruiter, got everything signed up, and he was going to be ready to send me out like within a couple weeks. But I told him that my drug test would test positive, for marijuana at the time, and I couldn't. I can't go because I won't pass the drug test. And so he sent me home with a bunch of drug tests and told me to come back when they're clean and we'll get everything started. And so during that time, I was, lying to my parents why it was taking so long. And so it took a little bit, and, about a month or so, we went back and we got all that process started. And that's what I was going to do. I started training for it, going, working out and doing all the drills that they wanted me to do. So whenever I got there, I could excel at it. I had a new goal, something, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be good at it. And I did. And time went on, and I got sent out to basic training for the Navy and was there for about a couple weeks, and the anxieties started to hit me while I was there. And I began to get overwhelmed and like, what are you doing? You rushed into this decision, just because you were afraid to tell everyone that you didn't know what you were doing. Instead of opening up and asking for like help there, you just ran to something else because it's working for somebody else. It's like, now you're going to be committed to these people. Whenever they want you somewhere, you have to be there. When you want to go somewhere, you can't go somewhere. And that ate me alive. But so, every night I would be thinking about that. And then we did some hard drills one day, and my knee swelled up, which was common for me. I knew it, it happens, it hurts, it goes, eventually it kind of goes away and we keep moving. But I took that as an opportunity to talk to the petty officer and asked him if I could go to medical. He wasn't happy about it, but I went to medical. Got there, started talking to the doctor, told him my knee was messed up, told him that I was, they wanted to do surgery at one point, and then I started telling him about my shoulder. And he gave me an option of doing surgery and doing rehab there at basic. And then after rehab, I could complete basic and be finished. Or I could go home. So I chose to go home. It's like, this is my out. I'm going to take it. And I did. So what a lot of people don't know is whenever you choose to separate during basic, they have a place they call SEPS. And so you have to remain there for weeks, months, however long it takes to get your paperwork completed so you can be a civilian again. So I spent time there with a bunch of guys who reminded me of myself, kind of a bunch of misfits who were lost in life, similar stories, and just kind of trying to find a way to make things work. There were a few in there that were in there for legit reasons, but most of them were a lot like me. And eventually everything got done. I got sent back home, and I made it sound like it was, nothing I could really do about it with my family. But in reality, I knew, I would have been fine. So when I got back, I was in between semesters for school, so I had to find something else to do, in the meantime. And so I started helping a friend. You had him on the podcast, Nate Salgado. Sell heaters. I was just there to help him. I drove and unloaded and just helped with sales, and really developed a friendship there, and was able to travel. We traveled through most of the southeast part of the country, and it was a good experience. I wouldn't trade that for anything. It kind of opened my eyes to a little bit more of the world, and just gave me a little bit of freedom. So I really enjoyed that. It didn't last long, but it was fun.
Yeah, the heater sales days were kind of wild.
They were wild. I got in on the end of them.
Courtney worked there, and she worked in the office
Yeah.
and would help with the marketing and sales and all that kind of stuff. But you guys it was booming.
Yeah, I got on one of their last years, and I was going in thinking we were gonna slay and make money, but no. I mean those experiences, those laughs, and the people you got to meet during all that, and just seeing like different parts of the culture that we have. I know a lot of people say like America doesn't really have a lot of culture, but you travel around and you take time to speak to people local. It's there and it's fun. So I mean, even in Nebraska, it's a little bit different than us, but I enjoy Nebraska too.
Really?
Yeah, just getting to hang out with locals and in the area and not, on some type of agendas can be fun.
Yeah.
But yep, so I went from there, and then after we were laid off from that, I ended up going back to school at MACC. That was my place. Got a job at Pickleman's, making sandwiches and pizzas and delivering. I actually loved that job. I had a lot of fun doing that. Moved in with a new group of guys. I kind of couch surfed with them for a while, and then they asked me to move in. I appreciate those guys a lot. Was able to create new friendships with them, Matt O'Toole and like Austin Cup, Mikey Templeman. Became really, really close to those guys. Became brothers, and great experience. Yeah, and so I did that, and life I was learning how to do it all again, learning how to work, learning how to party, and also getting curious with, that's kind of where I started to become curious with other drugs, anything that would help make a party a bigger party. And struggled with that, and I ended up moving in with guys that I met at work who were kind of on the same speed as me, and things really began to snowball there. And the same reasons why I dropped out of school was, going to cause me to do it again. I remember talking to my dad and trying to find a solution, where I didn't look like a complete bum, but I think he knew. And so he was going to help me get down south and maybe try to work on some oil rig. I had no business doing that, but that was something we were talking about. But I was going to finish out the semester and all that. And then one night I didn't even want to go out that night, but we won some people had some tickets to a comedy club, and my buddy, he wanted me to go with him. And I said, dude, I'm tired. I got to work in the morning and all this. And he said, come on, let's do it. Let's go. Let's be it. I'm like, all right. Yep. Let's go. So went out with them. We all had a good time. We laughed a lot and danced, and it was a good night. And we left early, and was going to go meet some people at my house that I met earlier in the week. And on the drive back, across the center line, and hit another vehicle. And vehicle overturned, and two people were ejected. And Michelle, she passed that night, and Michael, he ended up passing about a year and a half later. He was in a coma, but didn't make it home. Was less than a half a mile from home, I would say. Just the other day, I was in Columbia with my brother, and I showed him where it was, and right there. And that's just something I live with every day, and I know that it was a terrible, selfish decision to drive that night, and it's something I can't take back. And I know that there's a lot of hurt and tragedy that I caused, but that night I wasn't arrested. They police put me through all the tests and things and took me home. And then I went back home for the weekend. Didn't really talk about what was going on. And then went back home, went back to my apartment, and the police, I called the police to see about getting my house keys and stuff like that, and they said they'd bring them to me. And about 10 minutes later, there was a bunch of cop cars there, and I knew they were there for me. I went out and said, yeah, hey, here I am. And that day I was arrested and booked in the county.
What year was that?
That would have been 2012. It was December in 2012. And so went to county. I've never had a speeding ticket or anything. And getting booked, and I remember thinking, like I deserve this. I didn't run from it. I tried to own it the best of my ability, especially being numb, because the state of shock lasts for such a long period, knowing that you're the cause of something. Like your whole life, I don't know about you, but as me as a kid, I always wanted to be a superhero. I wanted to be somebody that saved people, but here I am now, like I'm a villain. And to this day, I'm probably a villain to people, and I deserve that. And but that was going through my head, like I really, really hurt people, and that was hard. And that was the first time that I experienced being in an environment like that. I was labeled as a violent offender, and so I was put into they called it the violent tank. So there's only people with violent crimes in there. And I was 20 years old, and I just remember being in there and trying to not look scared and not act like I was better than or less than anybody. So I was playing these games, but
That
was
would
yeah.
be mentally exhausting.
Yeah, it was just a haze. It was a lot. But I was able to go out on bond, and at that time when I was on bond, I thought once I left that jail, like things would just go back to normal. I prayed and hoped, but and I remember being kind of happy for a second, after getting out. But that first night, as I went to go to sleep, I thought of the families and just crying, like I don't deserve this. Like I don't deserve to live. Like why I'm sitting laying in this bed. Like I don't. So that's when I started to drink to numb pain and to numb thoughts. And I was on bond for about 1.5 years, and I kind of just faked life for a while, stuck in limbo, not knowing what my future was or what I'm supposed to do now. And there'd be times where, I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to live anymore. I just wanted everything to stop, and I couldn't handle it. But I didn't want to leave my family with that either. So I chose to drink. I remember hiding bottles of whiskey from my dad and stepmom as I lived in their basement during the time. And I would drink them and sometimes till I, passed out, hoping that if I drank enough that I wouldn't have to wake up and it wouldn't look like I did it intentionally. I suffered with that. I didn't have any relationship with God or any being, At that time, I kind of had all that pushed out of my head. I thought, I was kind of into like ancient alien stuff, and so that wasn't helpful for me at all. Mm-hmm. Like I was just alone in this world. I didn't know how to share my feelings and emotions and my thoughts with my family.
Quick question. Is that something that you feel like is one of the hardest things to deal with when you just don't know how to express and who you can express to? Like sometimes people, definitely you were going through way more, but you just don't know who you to talk to. Yeah. Like everyone says, talk to me, reach out, but when you're struggling, you really don't feel comfortable reaching out to anybody.
No. And it's something you have to learn how to do, I believe. Like, I don't think, one day you're just going to be great at sharing your thoughts or taking time to reflect on, like, who you are. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a skill you got to sharpen. And that's one of the reasons I really like the leadership thing you guys got going on at the school. That's good stuff. That's something where that can start. But if you don't know who you are, you don't know how you feel. And you can't emotionally grow that way. Mm-hmm. So no, I didn't know how. And most people, I don't really know how, especially like older generations where, you know, you didn't show a lot of that.
No.
So the best you got is like learning from the Disney Channel, and that was always cheesy and awkward. So no, I definitely think it's something that you have to develop and train, and it's hard every time because I mean, like, hey, I'm failing in this. What do you think?
Right.
So,
Yeah, you don't want to appear weak to people.
No.
It's hard to
Yeah.
let your guard down, and especially, I mean, everyone. But I know, I feel like as a man, like I'm comfortable talking to you. I
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah,
know,
we
when I
tell 'em
struggle,
deepest, darkest secrets.
but probably some things we shouldn't tell. But you just can't do that with everybody because it's not maybe that people don't care, but when you're growing up, like you said, a lot of us are just like, shut up and just work harder and get your shit together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, because, I
that's
mean, you
easier
just
said
heard,
than
I mean, growing up, you're just like, oh, quit whining, you know, you'll be all right.
done.
You'll be all right. I remember being a kid and really having the moment, like, where everything, like, opened up, my eyes open, and it's like, what is existing? What is, like, going on this thought process? Everybody has thought process like this? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? I'm like, I don't understand. And I talked to my dad about it, and he said, oh, don't think about it too much. And I'll never forget it. I was, like, 5, and I was like, how can I not?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at an early age, yeah. Oh, man.
So sorry, but okay, so you're struggling with that, and then you go to court. And
Yeah, and the court process, they keep pushing it back. And at a point, you know, like I just, you know, you kind of, and being in my situation, you don't want to be the one whining. Like, I'm the cause taking 2 lives. So you try not to be conceited, like selfish.
Mhm.
And so I don't say anything, you know, oh, poor me. But court keeps getting pushed back. It's a year and a half. And finally we get sentenced. We go in, and they were pushing for a treatment for me. The state assessment, you know, they assessed me and they recommended a 120-day treatment with a 15-year backup. So which means I'd go in, I would do a treatment program, and then I'd be on probation for 15 years. I'd be on probation, and if I were to screw up, I'd get the 15-year sentence. That's what my attorney thought I'd get. They said they usually follow the state, and in my head, I'm like, there's no way. That's not. And we went to court and all that. And I remember the judge, after everything was done and she was giving her sentence, she said, Mr. Gordon, I don't think you have a drinking problem. I don't think treatment would do you good. She goes, I think you chose to drink. I think you chose to drive. And I'm going to give you 7 years. And I respected that. And I went home. I didn't go home. She gave me 3 sevens, ran concurrent, so which means that they were all ran together. So once I completed my time on that, I would be free to go. She did her thing, and they put cuffs on me and took me in the back.
I just can't imagine how hard that was.
Yeah, and I remember like not wanting to look back at my family because I just know that they were broken. Knowing that in their heads they were thinking they were going to get a 100-day treatment. No one wants to see their son as a villain, you know. And I was always known as somebody to be kind of a light and a laugh, you know, and so they just wasn't expecting that. Things have always just tended to work out in their favor, but you know, I made terrible decisions, and I deserved what I was getting. I deserved worse. And at that time, I kind of had a sense of peace after the sentencing because now I know what's next, what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't last long. As soon as I got back to that jail and laid on the bed, like those signs of guilt and shame, you took 2 lives, and now you're just going to do 7 years, and that's it. They're not coming back. Their families aren't going to have them. And
In which prison did you go to?
so after getting sentenced, I had to go to the county jail until they had room to send me to a prison. So they have to have room to send you to a diagnostic where they determine your level. And at that time, they had a high, mediums, and lows. So I waited 2 days, and then they shipped me out to Fulton Diagnostic Center, and was there for about 2 months, and before they determined my level. God blessed me, and he blessed me with a low level. So I was able to go to a low-level camp where you had to be under 6 years to be able to be there. I had a 7-year sentence, and at that I didn't know, but when I was in diagnostics, I found out I had to serve 85% of it, no matter what. There's no good time credit, nothing you can do, nothing you can complete. You're going to be there for 85% of it, and you'll be released that day. So I was right under 6 years, 5 years, 11 months to my release date, so I was able to go to this prison.
So if the sentence would have been any longer,
Yeah.
you would have been reclassified to a
Higher level.
higher level.
And more likely, probably like be labeled a high. They had a grading scale. Like if you're married, it drops your points. If you have kids, it drops your points. So you don't want to have high points. But if you're young, gang affiliated, things like that, will raise your level. And so, because young people aren't usually the ones making the best decisions, which I get that. So I was able to go to this low-level prison, and the thoughts started coming into my head, like, here you are, just doing this time, and I couldn't handle the guilt and the shame.
Do they have groups or counselors to help inmates through that? No?
Not really. I mean, the thing about prisons, there's so many people in there,
Right.
and they're their own little worlds. And when I first got there, there was not much. There was they had AA and NA, and they had some church programs in the chapel, and then they had an ICVC, which Impact Crime on Victims class. They had those things, and you had to sign up for them, but there wasn't a lot going on, and I didn't have a lot of, like, at that time, there wasn't a lot for me to earn. There was nothing positive in my head there. So I got there, and the thoughts and the shame, everything overwhelmed me, and I ran back to doing what I was doing out when I was free, and numbing those. Didn't have alcohol there, but there was drugs. Prisons overflowing with drugs, and if you're a friendly person who makes friends easy, it's not hard to find, and it's not hard to, even get for free. But I got involved in that. I did turn down getting in affiliated with things. Did it respectfully, and then didn't have any issues about that. But it was that first year was really hard on me.
Did you just start to think, I'm just going to get through this time and
I'm just gonna get high and just lounge through the time. I paid while I was in there, so I didn't have to work, and I just hung out, and for about a year. And until it was 2015 in August, I would say. I was in my cell, and I was getting ready to get high, and I had a moment where God I felt like he allowed me to see me, like, through his eyes, from, like, an out-of-body experience. Like, I was watching it on, like,
this
that
is
TV.
one of my favorite stories that you ever told me.
And it's my crossroad moment in life, and he allowed me to see me for who I was in my situation, and I was allowed to see myself sitting on my bunk in my small cell, smaller than this room, and there I was getting ready to get high and being the same person I was that brought me to that prison. And I remember just shaking and crying, like, and just thinking, I've done all this. I've caused this much hurt. I've hurt so many families. I've hurt my family, and here I am. And this is who I am. I'm just gonna continue to do the same thing. And I began bawling, and I felt God say to me, "Haven't you had enough? Haven't you heard enough?" And at that time. I knew who it was speaking to me. It wasn't Buddha, it wasn't some ancient alien, it wasn't my own consciousness, but I knew it was Jesus in my heart. And I said, Jesus, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna follow you. And from there, I remember having a Bible on my locker that family had sent, and I'm not proud of this, but we had ripped papers out of it to use for rolling papers and things like that. But I picked up that Bible and opened it up and just tried to read from something. I didn't know much about the Bible. We grew up going to church and doing prayers and things like that, but I never really was taught like how to read the Bible or how to seek God. And so, with tears in my eyes, I said, I don't know what this is, and I don't know what you want from me, but I'm going to try.
And you've read it a lot since then.
Yeah, I read it a lot. Not as much now, but while I was in, I studied, and that became.
Well, I know it's interesting and fun for me because there's so many times when we're talking about something, you bring up a specific story from the Bible and a verse, and I've always found that, I really respect that you've got that much knowledge.
He's just blessed me with tools so I can get through life, man. People want to look at religion and things as rules and things like that, but it became a structure for me that I needed. It showed me how to live, and it showed me, why he's laid that out there to give me a path to follow that leads me to joy. Not always happiness, I'm not always jumping and smiling and dancing, but there's a sense of joy I have every night I go to bed knowing that I've been blessed with a beautiful life.
Yeah. Now, I know that you were reading the Bible and making changes, but there was still part of you that felt like, I'm just going to finish my time and get out of here. And then maybe you were presented with an opportunity to.
The same day.
It was the same day?
Same day.
Okay, I didn't
I
realize
had a buddy in the house. He came to my door as I was reading the Bible, and he asked me if I wanted a job in the canteen, which in the prison, that's a big deal. It's connections and it's money, and it gives you something to do. But I immediately turned him down. I said, no, I got a good thing going here. I got free time. I'm working on me, trying to go to the gym, and, really wasn't doing anything but going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
He walked away, and then I felt a pull and a nudge, like this is where you start. Be responsible. Make a little extra money. Parents don't have to send you as much money. Just do something. And so I stuck my head out the door. I said, Blake, I'll take the job. I'll do the job. And started working in the canteen from there. And working in the canteen and working with guys that were trying to do something positive, while they're incarcerated. There wasn't a lot of them in there. And so being around people who were talking positive and wanting things and having goals, it rubbed off on me. And then getting to work with people in the prison that are staff there. They're not incarcerated. Being around, we'd call them, just regular people. But that was nice because then I was able to be seen as somebody other than a number, or just another guy in grays, or just an inmate. That did a lot for me too. And then as they got to know me and see my work ethic, they began to open up to me, and you become friends with those people. And that's where I met my wife at the time. She was working in the canteen, and we spent about 3 years together working there, getting to know each other, and just becoming friends. And I love that, it was such a natural thing to happen. She left and got a different job and with MoDOT, and she had talked to my sister, and I got her phone number from my sister, and we began to stay in touch. And so for 2 years after that, we remained in contact. Mm-hmm. But she was the one that encouraged me to start going to the chapel and going to the church programs. And I was like, I'm not going into the chapel. There's a bunch of weirdos in there. I don't want nothing to do with those people. She goes, I can't. I'm like, I can't be associated with that. And she would just, she would show me Bible verses, and she really helped me grow in that area of my life. That
I feel like the Lord was pushing you from several different angles.
yes, I was being. That's prison can be a great place for you if you're willing to work, if you're willing to take the time and self-reflect. Before that, I didn't know how to do that, but those are things I learned how to do there. You have time. I started going to the chapel, but I would sit in the back seat, and they would have movements at night. So it was a 2-hour service, and you could leave at the top of the hour. And I always left at the top of the hour to go back and watch TV and eat cereal. That was I did it all the time. Did that for a while, and then I started to get to know the guys in there. And then Randy, she said that I should really think about this Celebrate Recovery. People do it in her church, and she was a part of it. She helped lead it there, and she really recommended it. And I didn't want anything to do with it. It's taken away from more of my free time. I don't need to go and sit and talk about all that with people. I'm fine. Eventually, I sign up. I start going to it, and that's where I really started to learn like what it was to be a man of God and be a child of God. And we started to break up into small groups in there, and we start sharing parts of our lives. We start sharing our defects, places where we fall short. And it's where I learned to self-reflect and take an inventory of who I am. And I did that for a couple of years until I got into the role of facilitating Celebrate Recovery in there. Then I got bigger into our Christian community, and to the point where I took over as the Christian rep for the chapel program in the prison. And that got me to the point where I started working at the chapel. Didn't want to work at the chapel. I had to leave the canteen. The prison wasn't fond of me talking to an ex-employee, and it didn't look good, and they didn't trust me. I understand. Nothing ever happened, but I get why they had to do what they had to do. But it was easy for me to go back to being lazy for a minute until the chaplain tracked me down and asked me to work for him at the chapel. And I told him, no way, dude. Like, I'm not going to work in there, Like I said, there was a stigma about working in the chapel or being around the chapel too much. And I didn't really want that, Like, I loved Jesus, but I can't take that part of things at the chapel. Went back, was reading, praying, and I felt that pull again to like, this is where you're supposed to go. I was like, gosh, like
Here we go again.
So I did it. I quit the yard crew that I was working on, that I was paying not to work, and went to the chapel. And that's where I began to get mentored by the chaplain. I began to get trained in the Bible and how to train other people and how to talk to other people and share. And that was a big pivotal moment in my growth and my walk with Christ. So I am extremely grateful for that time I had with the chaplain and the guys that I grew with and learned with. That was some knowledge that I use every day. So went from there, and that's how I got to growing and being a part of the church and the recovery program. And it's had a huge impact on my life and how I do things now. But did that.
Now, was Bo your cellmate?
Yeah. Me and Bo have the same charge. And we became familiar with each other through the visiting room. We'd have visits. We'd get visits quite often, and we'd go up together. And we started talking, and I helped him with canteen orders and got him in there to help him get some stuff. And we became friends. And eventually we did some paperwork to become bunk mates. We had a big open bay, and we lived together for quite a while. And we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of debates. At that time, Bo was an agnostic. He believed there was probably some type of God, but he was not a Christian. And so we would get into theological debates and turn into some political debates. And we were similar but very different, and we call them debates, just arguments. Like he's a strong-minded person. He's a smart guy too, but
I bring that up because, and we'll get in,
yeah,
fill in the blanks here, but fast forward, you asked me to go back to the prison with you,
yeah,
and you spoke, and that's where I met Bo.
yeah. While he's incarcerated,
Yeah, and several other guys in there, and one, I'll say that the experience, like through the worship there, was like it was very moving. It wasn't like going to church here. It was different.
yeah,
And then sitting out with Bo, he was very close to getting out.
yeah.
But then fast forward, and Bo is doing great things now.
He was doing great. He did
I
great
got
things in
hats
there.
in there to make for him. He's a great guy.
Man, he is something else. I remember I was on the inmate council, and he was just big on like trying to change the prison, and I wanted to too. I was still young.
At this time, how long have you been in there? 'Cause
I've
you're
been in
getting
there.
close
We're at the
to
end, so I had about a year and a half left, and we were living together. And I was on the inmate council, which is where they had elected officials. They had guys that were really just the custody and the admin scene that were trying to do decent, and they would be the voice for the inmates. And we'd go in and meet with custody and talk about what we could do to make the prison better for everybody. I mean, we had these ideas, we had these things that people wrote down and took it, and I would go back to Bo and tell him like, yeah, we tried, and they're not budging on things, they're not changing on things, and he would get so upset, and I'm like, man, this is just how they do it. We just got to keep trying, and I didn't know what he was capable of, so I fought and tried to get things changed, but I left during COVID, and things weren't budgeting. It didn't look like things were going to change.
You got out during COVID?
Got out during COVID, May 2020.
Okay.
Yep. I got out in COVID, which was a blessing in itself. But I got out. I was still talking to Randy, and went straight to work, helping my dad at the vet clinic and working cattle. And while I was doing that, Bo was grinding in there, and
Yeah.
we would talk on the phone every so often.
Had the GLA started?
No. So I invited Bo to Global Leadership Summit. It's a summit they hold each year where they have different leaders throughout the world come and speak, kind of like TED Talks. But that was a really cool opportunity for us because churches came and they brought in food, and we sat in the church and locked in there all day, and there was 40, 50 people sitting there watching these leaders speak. And after each discussion, we'd all share our thoughts of how we could use some of these tools in our everyday life while incarcerated, and how that can have an impact once we get out. So we did that, and Bo, when we got back to the house, Bo was hooked. He was stuck on this. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's cool. It is. I'm really excited. I think it's going to help me. But Bo didn't stop with it. He pushed with the chaplain, and got the idea of, holding meetings where we talk about leadership skills, and we talk about leadership tools, and how to equip those.
Mm-hmm.
And so he began creating this while incarcerated, and kind of got shut down a little bit, and he just fought, custody about it. But they didn't know that his wife is very talented when it comes to writing proposals and things like that. So they began writing things in the visiting room of what they could be doing, how this program could work, and how it could affect the prisons. And they took it and ran. And it got to the point whenever he was being released, the Global Leadership Summit, and they sent video crews to, and to find out and to hear what he's been doing and how it's been impacting the prisons. I mean, he got to where they put in an honor dorm in the prison, so the people that went years without any write-ups or any issues, they were able to live in a house, and now there's not even an officer that's watching that house. They're all just free to roam that house, which is amazing. I never thought that'd be possible.
Yeah, and I'm talking fast forward to now. He's got the Pull Up podcast where
Yeah.
he'll show up at prisons. He is pushing for reform in so many different ways. from.
He just met with Missouri lawmakers like last week.
Yes, he was on the news.
Yes.
'Cause he sent me the clip, and you can tell in his delivery he's very passionate about it, and that's what he does all day now. But we're talking about he would have me make some button-up
Mm-hmm.
shirts, all gray, monotone, just like the requirement,
Yeah.
but embroidered GLA.
Yeah.
Hat,
Yeah.
a monotone. He's got the GLA or whatever logo that he chose, and like the inmates like treasured that stuff, and really made them feel like a person.
Yeah.
Which you've got to help reform.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get introduced back to society.
Yeah.
So you got to help
Yeah.
in that regard. So it's amazing what he's doing.
Well, if we want what's best for society, we can't look at these people as trash. I know we get scared. It's easy to be scared of us. Like, we've made bad choices. We've, caused loss of life. That's scary. So it's easy to think I just want them in behind bars, locked away. But these are people who some of them have had hard lives and were raised in environments where the morals that we've had instilled to us, they didn't get. They grew up seeing family members as drug dealers and gang members, and that's normal life for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, oh, my family's bad. My family's, bad people. It's, oh, that's just my mom and dad. They're doing what they got to do. This is normal for people. It's normal. So they have to learn to rewire their brain and learn new skills and tools and then grow them. Some of us grew them throughout our childhood. So they're starting from a different point. And so we can't just lock them away and throw them away. We have to help teach them and show them that their life has importance and that there is something that they can do and that it can be valued.
Yeah.
And they can help a lot of people. And so we're leaning on our mistakes. We're leaning on our bad decisions and saying, here they are. I've been through this. I don't want the next generation to go through this.
Yeah.
Here I am. This is who I was, but this is who I am now, and you can do this too. So trying to help people learn to show accountability, learn to share their story and not be ashamed, grow and show that we're not trash. We can be a part of society and we can be valued again.
Well, I think it's even if you boil it down, like you said, to our little leadership class that we're trying to have for the kids, like it's really easy to assume people should know how to act, how to speak, how to do certain things, but you don't know what someone's experiences are.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes their decisions are based on they just literally don't have.
It's instinct.
Yeah, they just haven't been experienced to
Yeah.
those things, those situations.
Yeah. That's why kids make so many bad decisions, because they're just relying on instinct. Oh, this will make me feel good in the moment, so I'm going to do it. And a lot of us do that to this day.
We do. Yeah, it's way too easy. Just we live in such a world of we need instant gratification. We want instant happiness. That's why we eat the way we do, and we, consume the things we do. It just things that make us feel good right now. We don't care about the consequences.
No. That's where awareness comes in. And it's hard to be aware.
Yeah. So you get out.
I get out. I'm working.
It's not long after this that I start seeing you at the YMCA.
Yes. I'm trying to. So one of the things I worked on when I was in prison is like I had 3 things I wanted to do every day. I wanted to work my body physically, I wanted to work my body mentally, and I wanted to work my body spiritually. Those were my 3 goals to accomplish every day. And so I was really, big into running. That was helped me. That was where I learned how to really meditate and do some more self-reflecting. And that was where I spent a lot of my time in prayer. So I was at the Y, and I seen you and Lonnie and Jared, and I was a little jealous of you guys. You had a good little bromance going, and
3 weirdos.
yeah, and I was a weirdo too, and I was like, I'd probably get along with those guys really well.
You would always have your headphones in, and you'd be on some machine just like singing, and it was like, what is that guy doing?
I was a weirdo living in
Yeah.
La Vida Loca.
It wasn't long after that I started putting something together over here,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a long run for you.
Yeah.
From your home to the Y.
Yeah, because I was living out there by South City Park with my dad and Darlene.
So I just said, hey, if you want, you can just stop and work out here. And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was awkward. I'm still awkward. I'm a very awkward guy. I overthink things and sometimes make them, overcomplicate. But yeah, I didn't want to feel like I was intruding on what you guys had and had going
And
on.
we're old.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
Yeah, because I knew of you, but I didn't really know you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but eventually I said yes, and I'm glad I did because it was something I really needed too. I needed male friendship, and it's something that a lot of men, we kind of go without having. But I needed people who have lived life longer than me that I could learn from and share what I got going on and grow. But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun. But it was interesting because I was pushed to a random assortment of guys that we were not connected in any way, and all of a sudden we started to just like communicate about life, like
Yeah.
kids and the struggles and how hard it is to make ends meet and all these things.
And then Tyrell wanting, these things.
Yeah, Tyrell.
Him coming
Tyrell
in.
is a Marine and that I had saw at the Y for forever.
Yeah.
And I just, a lot of times people seem unapproachable. Like I was like, I don't know, he's in the military. I don't know how to say hi. Even with Jared and Lonnie, like that was a really weird experience. Me trying to like reach out and say,
You had to go out on a limb and
hey guys.
be a real weird guy.
But Tyrell just out of the blue one day was like, messaged us and said, hey, I'd like some training. And then the next thing I know, it's 4:30 in the morning and we're at Twin Parks setting up a Marine obstacle course so we can all go through it together. And we're running laps around Twin Parks.
That's so good.
It's so weird.
You're in like wearing neon colors and headbands and short shorts and
Probably the best day in the gym was Spencer's birthday.
that was a very
We
fun
all
day.
dressed like Spencer.
Oh, that was such a surprise. Oh, that was fun.
Because if people that don't know Spencer, his style usually when you're running, for
Yeah.
example, is very bright, vibrant, crazy,
Yes. Fun.
fanny packs and
Fanny packs.
anime, and so it was fun to dress as Spencer for a day. Another aspect of this story is, you and Randy, you have some amazing kids.
We got a wild
And
bunch.
You do. You've even got a foreign exchange student currently.
Yep, Devin.
But tell me a little bit about like fostering, because I know that's something
Yeah.
you guys are passionate about, and that's something that I would love to cover more on this show.
Yeah. Well, so for me, while I was incarcerated still, and Randy was still working at the prison, she felt God pull on her heart. Like she seen something on Facebook about fostering, and she got a call for these two siblings when they were 1 and 2, and I think she was gonna be getting like a tattoo that day, and she like left there to go pick up these kids.
Wow.
And I remember her telling me about it, like, yeah, I'm fostering a 2 and a 1 year old. I was like, oh my, you're a single woman and you're gonna foster these babies?
Mm-hmm.
You're out of your mind. And then as time went on, she adopted them, and we've really developed a friendship at this. This was probably at the end of her time working at the DOC, and I was just blown away. Like, you're a single woman and you're gonna adopt these kids. Like, that's remarkable. That was another thing that like attracted me to her, is like her faith in God and her strength to say yes to hard things. You don't know very many single women just fostering children and adopting kids. Like, I admired that, and so that really attracted me to her, and we continued to talk after she left, and we developed our relationship, and we decided we really wanted to make it work after I was after my time was done. And so we did that, and time went on. She ended up fostering many more children, and but she wasn't going to adopt anymore. And I had about 6 months left in my sentence whenever I called her one day, and she told me that I was going to be upset with her because she was going to be done fostering and be done. And I said, "What did you do?" You know, and she said, "I'm going to go pick up this baby." And I'm like, "You're going to pick up a baby?" Like, oh my gosh, you know, and she did. And then I was like, all right, you know, but you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Time went on, and then it got to the point where was started to talk about adopting. You know, that's like, and it freaked me out because I was having feelings for this woman, and she already had 2 kids, and she's talking about adopting another one, and it made me sick because I wanted a life with her, but
And there's a part of you that thought, I don't know if I can handle this.
yeah, I don't even know how to be an adult. I failed. I was not doing good out there. And, you know, I took the time to work on myself while I was in, but that was super scary for me. And I remember it was in the winter, and I remember running outside on the track that day when we had some yard time, and nobody was outside. It was snowing, it was cold, but I was running, and I was praying and praying out loud, you know, like, God, I don't know what to do. These thoughts are crossing my mind, and I'm scared, and time is just, I'm getting ready to be released. I don't know what to do. I'm tired. Like, I don't know what the right decision is. What am I supposed to do here? And crazy moment. This bald eagle flew down like in the fence and swooped down in front of me as I was running around the track, and I instantly thought of, even the youth grow faint and weary, but those who wait on the Lord will soar like wings of eagles. And so that was my decision. That made my decision up for me that I was going to pursue this. You know, we've been doing this. I've been growing. I've been putting my faith in you. I'm going to continue to do that. So from that day, I decided I'm going to pursue this relationship. Before being released, I took time. I was taking classes they had classes in the chapel for manhood, and modeled off the 33 years that Jesus lived. And so I took those to help me with parenting and marriage, and just whatever I could do, whatever I could equip myself with to be the best dad, the best husband, and the best man I could possibly be. And I tried to prepare myself the best I could. Still wasn't enough, but got released. Randy picked me up from prison, and she had the kids with her, which was pretty cool. I mean, they took me home, and the rest is history. I mean, we spent some time. Yeah, got married, bought a house, had a baby, and now I have 4 children, Kingston, Zariah, and Rook and Finley. And I couldn't imagine life without him. And, you know, and Rook, he's a different kid, and that, just thinking like I would have missed out on an opportunity because I was afraid of him. You know, and I'm so glad that, you know, God pushed me and God gave me a yes.
What you got to remember that is, you know, God's going to lead us, but it doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's value to the hard times, you know, like
Yeah, the
learning through
grind.
that. Yeah. Grind harder.
Most definitely, though.
That's it's just crazy. I do know that we struggle with
Mm-hmm.
having enough foster parents, especially in northern Missouri. So I want to go to the community calendar real quick because I know that I added. You just wait, Spencer. I'm so glad that we have the community calendar now because I know that on February 10th, which is a Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Vine, there is a meeting. It's CASA 101. It's foster care information, and it's about becoming a volunteer to just like help with foster kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way to get into it. I think that's provided by Shauna Stallo.
Okay.
But anyone who's interested, that's February 10th, Tuesday night at the Vine, 7 p.m.
Right on. I mean, my life would be empty if it wasn't for my wife going out and getting involved in foster care. I mean, my kids are my life. I give everything for them. You know, they're why my heart beats. I try to teach them and help them, and they do the same for me. Like, I learned so much about myself through my kids.
Well, it's our goal as parents to
Mhm.
make sure that our kids have learned from all the experiences that we've had,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not their responsibility to help us on our journey.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really focused on them, they will help you on your journey.
Oh yeah, and I mean, a lot of people just think that, you know, oh, they can't do foster care because they love too much, that it would hurt them too much. Don't be that. That's selfish. There's kids out here who need somebody, who need just to feel loved. You don't have to be the best parent. You don't have to really know a lot about parenting. They have people, they have tools that will help you. These kids just need loved. They need time and love.
And they just need to experience someone showing up for them.
Yes.
We've talked about that a lot of times on this show. Is like that's a lot like a skill
Mm-hmm.
that you need to learn to develop and improve. Like just show up. You're not going to feel comfortable. You're not going to be great at it when you start, but if you show up consistently, especially for a child, that's going to make a huge impact for them
Mm-hmm.
because that's starting to develop that trait in them. If they see you do it, they're more likely to do it in their own life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be willing to share your life. We're not meant to do all this on our own. So
Incredibly difficult.
February 10th at 7 at the Vine.
You nailed it.
Right on.
How about that? You have taken a lot of adversity and struggles and trials in your life, and I've been able to watch. You really do apply that to the community, and I know you've maybe felt like you didn't or whatever, but you're coaching. You're an active member. I know you've been on the chamber. You spent some time there. You're giving back. You've spoke about your story
Mm-hmm.
at the churches. Which church was that? Was that Park Baptist?
Park Baptist. Yeah.
So,
I've done Dare once. That was kind of hard.
and I wanted to bring it up because I think how you felt when I was saying, and I didn't know what you were going to walk us through today. I just knew you're a really genuine and great person that I wanted on the show because I've watched you, and you really do care about people and the community. Anyone can be a shining example of what how to change your life and give back. So maybe you feel like you don't contribute. Maybe you feel like you're not a big part of something, but you can be.
Mhm.
So, thank you for all that. Do
Thanks, buddy.
you enjoy coaching?
I love coaching. I love working with people. I feel like, God's given us all gifts and talents, and I feel like, I don't know like a lot of like what my talents are, but I knew one of my talents is I can love. I can do that. And that's what I try to do every day. Is just show love somehow, some way. And so I can do that through coaching. I can try to be a positive role model for the boys. I can show them that I care. I can take time to listen to them, to give them a hug, to pop them on the back of the helmet, let them know that I'm there and that I care about them. Ask them about their day. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the best, when it comes to the sports science of things. But I know that kids can rise to an occasion or get more out of them if they feel good or if they feel like somebody believes in them. And so I can do that. I had to coach baseball twice, 2 years. I don't know anything about baseball. When it comes to fundamentals, I don't know it. I'm not going to be able to help you break down how to throw a pitch. Not going to be able to do it. They needed somebody, and I said yes, and I felt like I let the boys down. A lot that hurt me a little bit, not being able to give them what they needed, but I I did what I knew I could, and I just try to show them love and show them I was there and that I care, and end up having a lot of fun and getting to know so many kids, and I love watching them grow. You know, a lot of those kids and the boys I've coached, they're in middle school now, and just seeing the people that they're becoming, and so many of them are doing such good things. Like, I love seeing them on the honor rolls. I love seeing them being involved, and I love seeing them doing all the different sports and just seeing them smile and continue to show up.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of kids that quit sports and stuff, but I feel like the group that I've been around, they've just continued to show up and keep trying. Even the ones that, you know, don't get as much playing time or get out there as much, they still show up, and I'm just proud of the leadership that those boys, and especially like me and Mike McCollum and Arliss and Chad, those guys, like, we all did the same thing, just trying to give love to these boys whenever you can, and I think that has helped these boys and their families as well. But it's a lot of fun to see.
Okay, rapid fire. 3 all-time favorite athletes.
3 all-time favorite athletes. I loved Terrell Davis. He was a Bronco. He's one of the reasons why I became a huge Broncos fan as a kid. He was the man. He's probably my favorite. I was a big Anderson Silva fan. Just the flash knockouts like that. He's the spider, man. Get out of here. Loved him. And then I'd probably say LeBron James. Don't always care, you know, what he has to say and things like that. But watching, you know, for my life, watching him be that dominant for that long. I mean,
So, I'm a big LeBron fan. I watch Jordan. I'm a Jordan fan too.
Yeah.
But you can like them both. It's
Yes.
not against the wall. So, the other night, LeBron played against the Wizards, I believe.
yeah.
So, of every player that played for the Wizards that night, not one of them was alive when LeBron started his
It's insane.
NBA career.
I know how I feel just walking around, and I've done nothing. I've lifted and ran a marathon once, so, like, and my body hurts. So I can't imagine how he feels at his age.
Yeah.
Golly.
3 all-time favorite Brookfield athletes.
My brother, I love watching him play and just his work ethic.
I
And
love how quick you said that.
yeah, he probably wouldn't expect me to say that, but he was always a humble leader. He wasn't always going to be the loud guy. He wasn't always going to be, you know, look at me. But he always showed up. He put in a lot of work. He put in a lot of time, and he's one of those guys that I feel like if he had height and some reach, you don't know how far he could have went because he was a monster. Austin Lindsay, his leadership. I mean, he was hard. He was hard to work with, like, on the team, because he was going to tell you the truth and he was going to try to push you and hold you accountable. He was a winner, you know, wrestling like that bred into him, and he was going to do whatever it took.
Four-time.
Yeah,
state
four-time
champion.
state champion.
Also on the 1,000-yard passer
Yeah.
list. as
Throwing
well.
deep balls to Blake Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, dude, he was just, I loved being in a huddle with him because, you knew he was going to be given everything he had, and I would fight with him. You know, I'd fight for him. Like, so,
You know, I think that's 2, right?
yeah,
So before you move on, I just want to say that that's something that I think kids now don't understand is, especially in like class 1, class 2, you don't have to be the best athlete on the field to win a game. You just actually need to want it more. There's a desire, there's a heart, there's a being willing to give as much effort as you actually have as a skill. And if you develop that, you can be very successful.
yeah, no doubt about it. Like those, I mean, you could see it in his eyes. Like he was giving it all. And so you try to do the same.
One more.
One more. Who's the one? I'm going to say no one's going to guess this, but it's personal reasons because he helped push me. Chandler Gall, he's a Marceline transfer, and he was a senior when I was a freshman, and he gave me the hardest time. I mean, he beat me to death in practices, and looking back, I know now because I was a hard-headed freshman that was going to try to be a try-hard, and look at me, and it's at the end of the practice, and he's trying to like get ready for conditioning, and here I am going as hard as I can every second, and so we had a fun back and forth, and I think we had a good bond. But he made me a better person because of the hard times he gave me and the beatings he gave me in practice, and I'm extremely thankful for that. So and he worked his butt off, and he continued to do it after school, and so he's a bulldog through and through for that.
That's very cool. I like to just throw stuff at you.
I like that too, because I didn't, that's just what came to mind. It's not something I've thought about.
Yeah, I hope people realize that there's nothing really planned or scripted here.
Yeah.
I jot down some ideas on a whiteboard and we just roll with it. Man, is there anything that we didn't dive into we need to go?
I don't know. There's been a lot. I mean, I got a lot of parenting stuff, but
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, here's one of my last questions.
What's the future hold for Spencer Gordon?
I ask myself that a lot. That's something like, where am I going with this? In September, I left the title company that I had been at for about 3 years, and decided that I really needed to pursue working with people, and that's something like I've talked to you and the guys about a lot. Like my passion's love. How can I make a living with that? So where am I going to do that? And I tried doing that at the title company. Worked with Danielle, Professional Land Title, right across the street. She's amazing, and she was somebody I needed in that time in my life. Transitioning to being a parent, being a husband, and I'm getting out of working, physical labor at the vet clinic. I needed a next phase of my life, and Danielle gave me an opportunity in title insurance, which I knew nothing. And that was scary for me, but I knew I needed to get out of being in the fields and not getting home late, and I needed to be there for my family. And Danielle gave me an opportunity and trained me and taught me, and I went crazy because I still didn't know what I was doing, and she took time and allowed me to grow and learn a whole new thing about life. I knew nothing really about buying houses or trading property or loans.
And just to tie in with that, I want to say that Danielle used to work at a bank, and Danielle helped me when probably no one should have helped me. And not only that, like, she wouldn't give up until she figured out how she could help me. I think she probably changed the course of my life as well.
Nice. I love that woman. She's just like another mother to me. She was a neighbor as a kid, and so she's been in my life, and she's been in my corner. And you can't have enough of those people. You need as many as you can.
But I know that you were looking for a career that was gave you purpose rather than just giving you a task and paying you for it. You wanted purpose.
Yeah, because we spend so much of our time at work, and that's something that can cause me to spiral into depression and anxiety. It's like I'm spending all this time doing something to earn a paycheck, to pay bills, to support my family, to be a part of my family, but I'm not with my family as much as I'd like to, and it drives me crazy. So if I'm going to be spending this much time, I need to be doing something for my purpose that aligns with my goals and who I am. And so I spent time, and I found Creative Pathways, and with my history, we had to take time to get all the clearances from the state to get into the Department of Mental Health and to get approved being a felon. And they walked alongside me, just like Danielle did when I was trying to get into the Department of Insurance, and they helped me. They wrote letters for me. People in the community, they helped me as well, and they gave me a chance.
Yeah. They're doing amazing things over there. We're lucky to have them in our community.
They're great to work for, too.
Such a cool program that they have.
It really is. I mean, if you care about people and you want to work for somebody that puts family first and that puts, love in their formula, Creative Pathways, man, they get the opportunity just to care for people and be a part of someone's lives and help improving their lives. It's an amazing opportunity, and it's been tough, transitioning into that and trying to balance like my life and like what's going on with Creative Pathways, and learning how to do my job in my new role that they have me in. It's been a tough balance, but we've been getting it together. I've been open with them and communicating with them, like how I'm feeling, and they've been very supportive, and we're finding a really good place, and I'm just extremely thankful for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very cool. I'm gonna keep trying, but eventually I'm gonna get Skylar and Josh on
I think that'd be great.
this show.
Yeah, great people.
Say it with your chest, Spencer.
Say it with your chest. Oh. Be honest with people. Find people you can be honest with. Find people you can open up to. Share your life with somebody, you know? I mean, and find people that aren't your significant other to do that with. You need to have people that you can lean on, that you can admit that you're falling short in these areas, and then listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find people that'll tell you the truth about yourself. Find people that, you know, can tell you about the good things you're doing too. Because it's easy for those to just fall to the way, you know, because you're just so hyper focused on the negative that's going on in your life that you're missing all the blessings going on and all the good that you are doing.
Very true.
So find people that you can work on life with. Find people to grow with. That's why I'm so thankful for you guys. I know we never get to sit down and talk. So I'm really thankful for this. But you need to have people that you can talk to and open up to.
Yeah.
Don't do it alone, and just quit telling everybody you're doing fine.
Well, and keep in mind too, sometimes those people, they walk into your life and it doesn't feel like someone that you're going to be close with, but
Mhm.
if it's meant to be over time as it develops, like it's worth showing up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
trying to.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lonely world, and we got so many people around us at all times, but we keep everything so close to the chest that
Yeah.
no one really knows our true selves sometimes. I mean, we gotta do it together. We're not meant to walk it alone. You know, even Jesus walked with 12 disciples.
Well, at the start of the show, we talked. We're so afraid to look weak.
Yeah.
We're so afraid to admit we have problems, or we all do.
Oh man, my wife, I love her to death. She has to listen to me. I always say, you know, like my mom raised a whiner but not a quitter. So like I'm gonna keep going, but you're gonna hear about it.
And sometimes you just need to. Sometimes you just need to get it out.
You do. That just ricochets around in your head, and then you're driving yourself crazy, and then days go by, and you finally take the time to realize, like, hey, this isn't so bad.
Sometimes you don't even need someone's input.
Mm-mm.
You just need someone to sit in a chair and just let you spew it out
Yeah.
and say, "All right."
Yeah. Oh, now that I said it out loud, it's not as bad as I thought it was. And days get better, dude. I mean, I've had dark days where I didn't think they were going to get better, you know, but thank God that, you know, he kept waking me up in the morning. So it can get better.
Yeah.
And you can make a difference, and you can do your best to bring light into this world.
And it starts by being honest.
It starts with being honest,
with yourself.
Yeah.
Honest with others.
accepting accountability.
That's what February's leadership class: accountability and ownership.
It's huge. I was talking with the kids last night, and I'm like, you don't really grow until you just admit like where you're falling short. Use wrestling. Like if you just go out there and make an excuse, say, oh, well, the ref slapped the mat too fast, you aren't getting better because of that. You know, you're the one that got put on your back.
Yeah.
But
There's a reason someone invented watching film,
yeah,
because you got to watch it and go, I probably should have done better. That's hard to do.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. I had a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah,
a little weird, a little awkward, but a lot of fun.
I know, and your story was hard to get through. I'm sure. I can't imagine, but I think it's important because what you have been through can happen to anybody.
It saved my life. You know, a lot of people will come up to me, it's like, oh, you just made a bad choice, you know. No, I wasn't living good. Who knows what I could have caused if that night didn't happen.
Yeah.
And
or if the judge would have sentenced you differently.
I don't
or
think I would. I hate to say this, but it's an honest opinion. I don't know if 120 days would have been enough for me. I might have just thought that, yep, I got away with something, and that's terrible. But the time to self-reflect and be trained saved my life, and I'm gonna try to use the tools I learned to have impact in other people's lives. I don't want to just take my talents and bury them. I want to use them and do the best I can, doing it.
Yeah.
So, bing bong.
I appreciate you.
Thanks, brother.
Oh, man. So that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Spencer, it was a great time. I hope we can get some other guys on. We could do another show. You and I are going to travel to,
Cameron.
yeah, we're going to be on Baby Fat.
Baby fat.
He is so close to
That'd be a
some video
change of
episodes.
pace.
Yeah. The vibe will be totally different.
Yes.
I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's it for us today, guys. Thank you. That's going to do it for this week of That Stuff Matters. Come back next week. Who knows what trouble we'll get into. If there's somebody you like to see on the show, message me. Let me know about it. Have a great week, everybody.
That stuff matters.